Here's a question. Can you tell a bit more about the resistance that can appear towards just being here? Oh, very good question. Thank you. Right. Okay, question like this. Do you feel resistance right now sitting in the room looking at the screen? Just hearing whatever sounds are here, colors that are here, sensations that are here. Is there resistance right now? I don't know. For me, it's no resistance right now with what is here. The resistance shows up with the thoughts mostly about what is not here. The past, some painful experiences, or the future, some anxious things going on there. But right here, right now, sitting in the room, I mean, I don't need to resist anything here. So just being here, what does that really mean? Just being here. It's leaning back into that space that we are. Like a sky-like space. That space is always open, it's always available, and it's not hiding. But it's found by noticing it rather than finding it by seeking it or uncovering it. And that space is not resisting anything, it's allowing, it's fully allowing. It's not even a question of resisting or allowing. Everything can come in and go. But then there is this pull and pull of things that come in and go. That is also a program, that is also another thing that is coming in and going. The resistance. And whatever is showing up is here to be seen. So even the resistance can be allowed and accepted and said, yeah, I agree. Actually, that's the quickest and most, I mean, it's the quickest and the most sure thing to deal with the resistance is saying, I agree. Oh, I don't like this. I agree. Yeah, I don't like this. It's like acknowledging the resistance rather than fighting it somehow or making it wrong. It can always be just allowed as well and agreed with. Because if you agree with something that is arguing against life or against what is here, you say, I agree, the argument is over. That's it. What else to say? Right. But if there are some painful situations or painful memories or painful sensations in the body that feel unsafe, and there is a pattern or a mechanism of trying to get out of here, not to feel it. And the antidote to that is noticing and recognizing that it is safe to feel whatever is here. It's safe. What will happen to you if you feel something unpleasant or uncomfortable or so deep? What will happen to you? Nothing. You can feel whatever showing up, whatever is coming here to be felt. So there is a freedom to feel, freedom to experience, freedom to witness what wants to come in and pass. It's interesting to notice that our thoughts about the future, which create anxiety and fear, they are about a future feeling. If that happens, that will happen, then I will feel like that. That's really the pattern of fear about the future feeling that is not here now. But what if that happens? How will I deal with that? Maybe I cannot deal with that. It's too much. So all our fear is thoughts about future feeling that I don't want to have. I want to escape. I want to get out of that, not to feel that. And then there is this controlling showing up, the wanting to control the situation, not to feel it. But if I can see that pattern and how it's working in my day-to-day experience, I can see that if this thought about what will happen then is creating tension in my body, and it feels right here or right there or right there, then I can look at it. Is this helpful? Is this actually helping? Is it practical? Is it useful? Maybe it's not. And the safety is not out there in the future. The safety is now, in this openness, in this spaciousness, and home, at home. Home meaning feeling open and calm and protected and nurtured by yourself. And the very peculiar thing about resistance is that we identify with it. I don't like it. I think it should be different. I want something else. That I comes in with a narrative and creates that I as an apparent entity that is resisting. So there is this sensation of push and pull. I want something to be here, or I want something not to be here. That push and pull. And the narrative about it says me, I am resisting. I don't like it. So a lot of our identity is in that resistance. And if you look at that, how much energy that resistance is taking, how much life energy it's holding. Yes, it's protecting something. The resistance is protecting something. And that energy that is going in that resistance is saying, don't look there, don't go there, don't allow that, don't be with that. So how much energy is going into that resistance, into that me? And one way to say to it, I agree. I agree. I agree. That's where it can start melting. Because when it has nothing to say, there is no more I there. Because the I comes in with the narrative, in the narrative about the I that is resisting. Yeah, that's one of the places where the separate I or separate me or separate self is hiding on the plate side. It's resistance. So let's look again at this room. It's just a room, colors, sounds, sensations. There's nothing here that I need to try to push and pull. So this is the safe place. Everything can be as it is now. It's now, the immediate actual experience. And we don't even need to think about it. It's like kind of going on by default. Nothing to do about it. Nothing to identify with. All right. The message is I often have this voice in my head saying you should be doing something else. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I'll try agreeing with that voice next time. Oh, this shoulds and shouldn't. Yeah, that is resistance. And it's unconscious because how do you know what you should and shouldn't be doing? I mean, how does that voice in the head knows what you should and shouldn't be doing? But if it's left unchecked, if it's left believed, it will grow and it will make life very painful because this reality is not what it should be like. And the way is not to change reality because we cannot change that, but to look at these shoulds and shouldn'ts, see them, and agree that that's not how life is. Life is exactly as it should be. How do you know it is? This is how it is. And then there is this great exercise. I give it as a homework. Sometimes some people I work with is just to take a piece of paper and write down everything that should and shouldn't be. How I should and shouldn't be, how others should and shouldn't be, everything, whatever, health, money, relationships, all areas of life, like taking an inventory of what the mind is saying that should and shouldn't be. Like, okay, this voice knows a lot, right? It has a whole image of how life should be. Now let's really get into the depths of it and figure out what it knows. None of that is true. None of that is true. But unless it's checked and seen, it's running unconsciously. So when the voice says you should be doing something else, I would say, and how do you know that? How do you know that? A funny example is that me and my husband moved to Lithuania once, and then, I don't know, sounded like a good idea to buy a house in a village. It wasn't a good idea. Bad idea, bad idea. But anyway, so we bought this house in the village, and there was this garden, and a lot of, like, you could grow vegetables and strawberries and stuff. But the weeds are growing. The weeds are growing, and I have to go and take the weeds out. And in the beginning, in the spring, it was like, yay, good fun. I love it. Yes, let's do that. Then it rains and the weeds grow and there is no time. And then this happens and that happens. And, the weed starts overgrowing. It's just so much. I'm like, what to do now? It's too late. It's too late. Lucky me, in this situation, we sold the house and I left all the weeds and ran away. But with the weeds of should and shouldn't, we can't run away. We take them with us, you know? So we do have to tend our mind garden and make it clean and clear of all these shoulds and shouldn'ts. Otherwise, we want to run away. And there is nowhere to run away from yourself, your own mind. Yeah. Now I have no weeds. Oh, a little bit behind the house, just a few, once in a few months. I go and pick it. And I always remember that sea of weeds that I couldn't deal with anymore. So shoulds and shouldn'ts are like weeds in the garden. And unless they are taken care of, they are going to overgrow and make life miserable. Because it seems like this voice in the head knows how life should be, and it's complete nonsense. Life is exactly as it should be. How do you know? This is it. This is here. This is here. Resistance is one of most interesting things to explore when we are no longer running away from it or think that it's a problem. It's actually our guiding system. It can be so useful on this journey because anything we resist is just saying, oh, here's the next invitation. This is what you need to look at. This is exactly what is opening up now. You can use resistance to uncover things that you haven't looked at. It's like there is this system. The system is built up from all the beliefs, behaviors, reactions, relationships, emotional responses. It's a system that is working. And the resistance is here to protect it. So it doesn't fall apart. It's not something that can anyone else play with. It's like a bubble or a bundle. We hear that it's a bundle of thoughts, so it's a bundle of beliefs, bundle of emotions. So that bundle is protected by resistance. The resistance is saying, don't touch this, don't look there, because you don't want to change even a tiny little bit, because if it doesn't fit the rest, everything has to reorganize itself. It's a big job. You don't want to do this big job. You never know what will happen. It's scary because you don't know. That's what resistance is saying. You don't know. Don't look there. Yes. And that bundle is being protected. And the core of that beliefs is that I am here separate from life. And I need to hide from life. I need to be taking care of myself, first of all. And I'm separate. So that belief doesn't want to be looked at. I mean, it's protected by resistance big time. Because otherwise, what? The game over. And the mind knows that it knows. The mind knows what is a belief, what is truth. But it has to pretend that it doesn't know or that it forgot. And not to look there and not to recognize it consciously, because the whole system has to reorganize itself. And then the game over. The game of playing a small game of playing this little me that is somehow a victim. Can't play that anymore. So when the resistance comes up, it's like, yay, something's ready. Thank you for coming. What is there for me to see? What are the gifts of this occurrence? Because we can either be building on that bundle or deconstructing it. And with deconstruction, there is more and more space. There is more and more openness and flow and joy. There's room for other things rather than me and my beliefs, me and my opinions. But that me, that resistance itself, has to be also allowed and made friends with and made useful, because it's not what it seems.